Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another Walking Dead video. Today we're going to be discussing episode 5, the penultimate episode of season 2 of Daryl Dixon, with a name that I'm not even going to begin to pronounce because they're all in French titles, so I would just butcher the shit out of them. But another good episode. As we know, the season hasn't been top notch, and it's not been something that's blown me away personally. But it has been entertaining, and it has been great to be back in this world and be back with some of these characters. But some of the writing choices have just not been stellar by any means with the choices that they've made with certain characters, and just the lost opportunities I think that they're going to have down the road with these choices. And one of the biggest ones lately has been the death of Isabel in the last episode, and also the death of Madame Genet. I thought her death and her character arc was very rushed, considering it was over 2 seasons. The same with Isabel. I just thought that they could have done so much more. There could have been so much more story to tell. It could have been a bigger thing. And they decided to kill them, and I think that, at least with Isabel, they decided to do away with her simply because Carol was now back in the picture. Because, as you know, with Season 1, Carol was not involved. Melissa McBride couldn't do it. She had some scheduling conflicts, and I think that she just wanted to take a break in general. And, with that, we were introduced to Isabel, and she was a strong, amazing character. I like the bond between her and Daryl and just everything that was going on with them. And with Daryl finally having someone that he could connect with just to be killed off an episode later. And I think it had a lot to do with the fact that Melissa McBride came back. They didn't need 2 female leads. They only just needed the one. So they did away with Isabel's character, and that was that. And I believe that was a dumb choice. And it was just kind of 2 steps back from all the progress they had made with Daryl's character and bringing him out of his shell in a sense and giving him just a new sense of being needed and whatnot. And by no means is it a showstopper. It doesn't kill the show, but it does take away from it. And just now we're back to just plain old Walking Dead, just like we were. And in this episode, it kind of feels like they're going to continue to go down that path to make this just kind of Walking Dead season 12, but with only these 2 characters. But getting the episode, as I said, it was another great episode, and we do get some kind of redemption for some past characters. And with this episode too, just kind of on par with the last one, they're really showing that they're not afraid to kill someone. And we got another character killed this episode. It was not who I expected it to be, honestly. I mean, for one, Condron, I didn't think he was going to make it past the last episode, just because of the situation that he was put into. But in this one, we get him coming back into the picture. And with Condron being brought back into the picture, we definitely see a different side of him. He even says himself that during his imprisonment with Madame Genet, he had time to think and about how he was approaching things and the mission or the life that he was trying to lead in this new world, and he just realized that he is on the wrong side of things. And he really goes to show that with how he rescues Laurent, gets him out of a shitty situation. But the episode goes into with Daryl and Carol on their way to find Ash to get back to him, because they have Laurent, they have him in a safe place. He's back at the rooftop colony with Falou and all his people, so they think that they found a good place to hide, but it doesn't honestly turn out that way for him. As Daryl and Carol believe that he's in a safe place, they go out and they continue their search for Ash, and they actually go back to the stadium where Ash had landed the plane and stashed it away, and they come upon it, and he has basically fortified the place. And Carol says something about how he's been busy, and they approach it, and they're yelling for him and everything. They don't see him, and we see that he has booby-trapped the place. And because of that, there's been a few people that have been caught in these booby traps because they were sent by Anna from the club to check it out, because they saw as the plane was landing in France, she sent people to investigate and try to take the plane. So Ash has booby-trapped the place, and people have been killed because of it, and they come across one guy who has not died because of his injuries, and he's not willing to offer any information. He just requests that he be killed, so Daryl obliges this and does kill him there. And we get the return of Ash. We see him running down the street, and this is something that we did see in the trailer, where Ash is running from walkers, and he tries to get in this car, and he tries to start it, and then it doesn't go to plan, and he tries to get out, and as he pushes the door, it gets rocked back in his face by the walkers outside and knocks him out. And he turns out he's in that car for a couple of days while he's waiting for people to find him. And so Daryl and Carol make it their mission to go find him. And they do find him knocked out, concussed in this car. And they make their way in there. And this is where we see Daryl shoot those couple of walkers, because they do take out a few of those walkers as they're trying to get in the car. So Daryl and Carol make it into the car. And this is where they find the trank gun with the compound that changes the walkers, because all of this is within the compound that was Madame Genet's headquarters. And after they find out she's gone, it just kind of all falls apart and they all kind of go their separate ways, and the place is just laid in ruins. There's dead people everywhere, because this is where all the walkers actually come from. And so the whole place just turned into total anarchy, and it just turns into a mess. And so they start taking out these walkers, and Daryl shoots a couple of them up after he gets into the car. And just with these two walkers, this is from the trailer that we saw, the blood splatters all over the window. This is just those two walkers destroying all of the other walkers. And they do, of course, try to make their way in the car. They are taken out by Daryl and Carol, and they get Ash back to the plane. And they give him rest and just everything that he needs. All while back at the rooftop colony, Lo Sang has showed up, and of course he has the backing of Madame Genet's soldiers, and they're on the lookout for Laurent and try to take him back. And this is where Condron really starts to redeem himself. He gets Laurent out of this place, he gets him to safety, and all while Lo Sang is still on a search, and he still has that woman whispering in her ears, and she's going to become a bigger problem in the next episode for the finale, just because of what we see in this episode. Then while Ash is getting this rest, while Carol is cleaning and prepping the plane and just there to be for Ash, Daryl goes off. He meets up with Condron, and he actually thanks him for getting him to safety, getting him out of where he was. But they are still tracked down because they go to the club. Carol and Daryl, everybody, they go to the club, and they meet Anna, and they ask her for favors because, of course, that she can get things, she can get resources, she can get people, just this and that. And this is how they actually get their weapons, and they go save Ash in the first place. Because they go there actually a couple different times. They initially go there to get the weapons, to save Ash, and they go back for more favors to get out of France because they have a lot of fuel so they can power the plane. And Daryl goes back, and this is where him, Condron, and Laurent meet up, and they get cornered in the catacombs, and so they decide to part ways, but only temporarily, as Lo Sang and his people actually figure out where they are. They follow them into the catacombs, and Daryl and Condron just kind of systematically start taking them out, and we get the showdown with Lo Sang and Daryl, of course, kills him, and that's what I was talking about in the beginning. They are not afraid to kill people. I think they're ultimately going for the way to cut all ties to this storyline, to this location, so they can move to Spain and just start with a whole new, fresh story. So I don't know how it's going to go, because throughout the whole episode, Daryl is talking about, after he reveals to Laurent that Isabella's gone, that she wanted him to go with him back to the States, and Laurent doesn't want to at first. He says that his place is there, he needs to stay there and just kind of look after everyone and just kind of be who he wants to be there without having to worry about everything that's going on. But after Daryl kills Lo Sang and eliminates that threat, it does kind of change, where Laurent is more willing to go on this trip. But he still has his reservations, I think, because of what he believes is his responsibilities there. But he does want to be normal, too. But after Daryl takes care of Lo Sang, and at the same time, Condron's fighting Lo Sang's right-hand woman, whoever she is. I can't ever remember her name. But they get into a little fight, and he throws her against a wall. And I don't know if we're led to believe that she died, because obviously she didn't, just from being thrown into this wall. But she does live, and she's going to pose the bigger problem in the next episode. But Daryl, Carol, Laurent, they all get back to the plane to be there with Ash, and they're all talking about how they can leave, but Ash tells them that there's no way that this plane, with all four of them, is going to get up off the ground. So they do have to make the decision who's going to go, and I'll talk about that in the breakdown for the next one, because I think some things are going to go down. I just not sure what direction they're going for as far as with a few of these characters, if they are in fact going to kill them and they're going to sever the story and almost make it like it never happened to begin with, which will just be the dumbest thing in the world. But all in all, good episode, good penultimate. We had a lot of things go on. The death of Lo Sang, he was beaten to death very savagely by Daryl for good reason. And with Condron, I love his redemption arc and the things that he's doing to make up for what he did, realizing that he was in the wrong, he was down the wrong path, and he's doing everything he can to save Laurent and get him to safety. And at the same time, I think, trying to earn Daryl's respect and just apologize to him for being who he was, because he has this moment, this kind of beautiful moment actually, with Laurent, where he is begging him for his forgiveness, and he's so sorry for what he did and the part that he played in trying to take him and trying to kill him. And Laurent says, I've already forgiven you, so we can just move past that. And so it's definitely parts of the story are definitely, I think, making a difference, as far as there's definitely some creativity behind it and some good lessons behind it, but there's still parts of the story that just don't make sense, and it seems like they're just kind of severing ties and just moving on to the next story, because I don't think Laurent is going to be in the next season. I'm not 100% sure. And Ash too, because they set it up, and I'll talk about it in the breakdown for the next trailer, but it just seems like they're setting it up to maybe have them possibly even disappear. But I could be wrong, but just based on what we've seen so far of the filming of Season 3, it just doesn't seem like he's going to be a part of it. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, of course. Consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. Help me reach that goal of 1,000 subscribers. I'm getting closer every day, and I'm so grateful for it. And any of you that continue to come back and check out my videos. But I guess that will do it, guys. So until next time, take care. Bye.